today. And I'm wondering if any of you is interested into reading a good, decent history book. Hands up. Who's interested in reading a history book? Really? Wow. Okay, you get a chance later on, BJ. How about a history book about war? History is full of wars. How about a war, the story of a war that is full of exploitation, of insanity, of benefits for our civilization to the day, full of thrillers and dramas and geniuses being driven insane? I do have a story for you about war. It's a war of AC versus DC. AC being alternating current and DC being direct current. Picture the United States in the late 18th century. Electricity was barely invented. The light bulb was flickering and barely shining a light at all. Households didn't have electricity yet. Now picture ourselves. I see 3 smartphones sitting on the table here. The camera is recording myself. We are all immersed in technology powered by electricity. Imagine, we had no X-rays, no radar, no radio signals, no long-distance power for our households at all. Imagine how different our world would be. Today, I'm going to tell you the story about Nikola Tesla and his role in the war between alternating current and direct current, which has an impact on our daily life to the day. Nikola Tesla was born in Croatia. He spoke 8 languages, immigrated to the United States, and was very interested in alternating current. By the time, remember, it's the 18th century, late 18th century, electricity was barely working, and the Wild West inventors were still about to work out the flaws in the design and get the light bulbs to shine constant, without a flicker, at a constant level of light. Nikola started working for Thomas Edison. I'm sure you have heard of Thomas Edison. What comes to mind when you hear of Thomas?
Light bulb.
The light bulb?
The light bulb, Richard. Light bulb as well. Light bulbs all around us. It is true. He was the one that didn't invent, but got the light bulb to a stage where he could sell it off. Now let me spin the story again. Nikola worked for Thomas Edison in his very first stage as an immigrant in the States at the age of 28. Thomas Edison, self-taught, never finished high school. He was a ruthless businessman. He had the mentality of try it and error. Instead of using his brain to solve a problem, he would try it multiple times till it finally works. He didn't understand how the light bulb worked. He just got it to work by tinkering, and then sold it, and then became the inventor of the light bulb. When 20 people before him actually did the legwork inventing the light bulb and the idea of electricity generating light. If you take Thomas Edison and then Nikola on the other side, Nikola finished university, spoke 8 languages, was a recluse, very smart, interested in alternating current. He was interested in alternating current, whereas Thomas was invested in direct current. Invested as in being the ruthless businessman he was. He held several patents from inventors that he just bought for cheap, held onto it, and tried to push direct current, DC, to the mainstream market, thus making him the richest man in the States. Thomas asked the young Nikola to help him work out a few kinks in his direct current generators. He didn't understand how they work properly. He knew a little bit of it, he could speak the language, but he wasn't an inventor himself. He didn't have the brains to do that. He said, if you solve this problem for me, I'll give you $50,000. In the 18th century, that is like $1 million today. Nikola went to work. He spent the better part of the year fixing issues with the direct current generators for Thomas Edison. He succeeded. It was a more stable system, way improved. So we talked to Thomas and said, so Thomas, I've done the work for you. It took me almost a year. I'd like to have my money now and to be able to move on and do my own research on alternating current, which is way more interesting. You know what Thomas said? Oh, you Nicola, you don't understand the American humor. Get away, get out of here. He was never paid for his work for Thomas Edison. It came to a stage where Nicola had to work as a laborer for a street gang in New York, where he lived. No job, almost starving, he just barely scraped by. But he has revolutionary ideas about alternating current, trickled through to academia in the States. He was invited to electrical engineers of the New York State University and ended up teaching classes and discussing with electrical engineers the visionary ideas he had around alternating current, up to a point where Westinghouse hired him. Have you heard of Westinghouse, Lorena? Sounds vaguely familiar.
It does, and I'm accounting firm, yeah.
Well, there we go. Okay, these are descendants of the Westinghouse family, very powerful in the States. I forgot the first name. Westinghouse himself was very interested in alternating current again. He asked Nicola to help him work out a few kinks in the design. Again, and since Nicola was very interested in AC alternating current as well, he helped them and they worked together. Much to the dismay of Thomas, good old Thomas was still invested in direct current. What do you think he's done to sabotage the race of alternating current versus direct current? The race to the households. Let me tell you, good old Thomas stole animals from the neighborhood and electrocuted them on weekends to show the public how dangerous alternating current can be. He lobbied for direct current. He paid off politicians. He printed flyers. He spread rumors that Westinghouse was almost bankrupt, trying to sabotage the research they were doing on alternating current. Up to a point where Westinghouse talked to Nicola saying, Nicola, my investors are backing out. I can't support the money for a research lab anymore. We have to do something about the contract we have, because I promised Nicola, if you do get successful, I'll pay you $2.50 for every single unit sold as royalties. Nicola took the contract, tore it apart, and said, you know what, Westinghouse, you've been a friend of mine for all these years. I trust you. You helped me out. Let's tear this contract apart and see if we can succeed anyway. This allowed Westinghouse to keep funding the research, and finally for them to succeed with alternating current. They were the first ones to build an hydroelectronic power plant on the Niagara Falls in the States, powering Buffalo as the first American city at all. At this point, AC, as we know today, alternating current, has won the race. Direct current was inferior, didn't make it. And to the day, electricity out of the outlets is alternating current. If your phone vibrates, the little motor in this phone that vibrates, invented by Nikola Tesla. Imagine Nikola. Imagine his influence, the benefit he has given to our society and our civilization. How do you think that this guy spent the rest of his life, all the sunset years of his life? Any idea, Vijay? He lived in a small hotel room in New York City, living off crackers and milk, feeding pigeons in the park for years. Finally, being more and more driven to insanity, he found one special pigeon, white, with little gray tips on the wings, that he loved. Wherever he called this pigeon, she would come and talk to him. And he saw her eyes, the light beams, shining on his face. He finally died at the age of 86, lonely, poor, and pretty much insane. What I would like to take away from this speech is two things. First of all, research needs to fail once in a while. Tolerate research when it happens in Canada. Second, Business ethics. Do we know that this is not happening right now? These cutthroat business ethics? Do we know what's in the pipeline right now that's being sabotaged and exploited? What could benefit our civilization 100 years from now? I don't think so.